about building your custom dream home, but did not know where to start. You were concerned about costs associated with the project. You didn't know what the process entailed. If that's you, you don't want to go anywhere. You want to watch this video because we're going to talk about custom home building today and really demystify the process and simplify it so you buyers that are on the fence about moving forward in this direction, we're going to help you out here. I am Ann Hale. I'm with eXp Realty. I'm a realtor. I specialize in helping clients transition into a new beginning, and I am meeting here today with John Hayes of John Hayes Homes. Why did you choose the custom home building space? Can you give us some insight on that?
Yeah, for sure. So with production building, it's cookie cutter. You can pick options 1, 2, or 3. And building a home is usually a person's biggest investment.
Right.
And it's very dear to their heart. I mean, it should be cherished. And with being a production builder, you don't get to pick exactly what you want. With being a builder, it's the exact same thing every day.
Right.
So it gets old. So I love doing full custom because the home buyer can pick exactly what they want. They can have their dream home. They can customize whatever they like, and you can't do that with a production builder.
Right.
So, and then I have a build job that I'm doing for another couple, that Van Alstine, that we're going through architecture and design right now.
Yes.
So.
And that couple would be me,
Yeah.
by the way. My other half is not here to give it his side of the story, but yes, John is my builder, and he's amazing, and we've had an incredible experience with him thus far. So I wanted to share a little bit about our journey, but then also just, again, there's so many buyers that I have call me every year, and they think about, well, what if I just built a custom home? They don't know where to start, John. So, I want to just kind of share from your perspective today to help those buyers just, kind of get off the fence and pick up the phone, because we can make it pretty simplified and easy for them to get started. So.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so perfect segue, costs. When I think about the number one question that most of these buyers ask me as they're dreaming about having everything that they want in their home, the biggest question and also the biggest factor that decides if they can actually move forward with the process is cost. So can you maybe talk us through at a very high level, do you have something set up to where my client calls and says, okay, I'm ready to go down this process. What does that financing process look like? And do you have a lending partner that you've connected with to help your home buyers get into their dream home?
Yes, so I have 2 lenders that I use.
Okay.
Preferred lenders, and they help cut the title insurance and do different incentives to try to help. Because I know that's a really stressful part of it, is the financing and trying to figure it out to whether you can build a home or not. And,
right.
We do have inside lenders that try to simplify that process and make it a little bit easier than just going and calling the bank.
Right. Yes, definitely. I know that this is a very hard question because there's a lot of factors that go into cost, but can you maybe speak from the projects that you specialize in on the custom side? Can you give us a range of what most buyers might be looking at budget-wise? Just a wide range, and what does that starting price point square footage look like?
Yeah, for sure. Our starting out labor material square footages are around 160 to 180
Okay.
a foot.
Okay.
So very reasonable. Now that doesn't include the lot purchase, which land keeps going up.
Right.
But then it can also get into, well, we want Taj Mahal tops and all marble floors, and it can get up in the $300,000 high 300s range pretty easily. But if you wanted to stay within a budget, I mean, we can make it work. So yeah, anywhere from 160 to 180 on material and labor.
Okay.
It's very doable, and that's for a very nice custom home.
Right. And what would you say for someone that's thinking on the smaller side, square footage wise, what would you say that square footage might be for someone that's interested in building custom? What does that typically start at?
Yeah, I mean, for a 3,000 square foot house with solid corridors, I mean, not skimping on any quality materials. Still, I mean, 180.
Okay.
But once you add the lot in, you're probably looking at 210 to 240 dollars a square foot.
Okay.
In that price range. One thing that we do with home buyers, not talking about inventory homes or anything, but we do a cost plus basis.
Okay.
That way, it's not a fixed price where it's marked up 30% or even higher, 30 or 40%.
Okay.
Where the GC fee is 15%. And I'm completely transparent. I have a program that shows all the invoices, everything that we're paying on the house. And so as the house is being built, you can fluidly watch the budget and the invoices roll in, and you see you're paying my wholesale pricing. And so you can build a home at 50% margin versus a whole lot cheaper than going and buying one.
Right. And still get it a really good, you're not sacrificing on quality by any means.
Yes, for sure.
So John, you mentioned cost plus. Can you kind of speak to that for those that are completely foreign to the process? What does that mean, cost plus? And you know, what's the opposite of a cost plus builder? What is that? Can you kind of share the differences or the pros and cons between those two different options buyers have that want to build custom?
Yes, for sure. There's two models. There's a fixed price and cost plus. So fixed price is whenever the builder sets a fixed price. So let's say $1 million for a home. They set their margins in there and their markup, which is usually 30 to 40%. And that's it. So you have your standard specs. It shows what sheetrock's going in the house, what the texture finish, the doors, the standard sheet mirrors. It shows everything that's going in the house.
Okay.
And then if you want to upgrade, then we'll create change orders and add to that to upgrade. But that is probably the more standard style is fixed pricing, especially with all the larger home builders. Which it's not bad, but the builder's making more money.
Right. Thank you for being honest.
Yeah, no, I've seen all the numbers. I've ran it all. I know what it is. So, but what we try to do is cost plus. Now the flip side of that is you need to have trust in your builder. There has to be transparency. They have to be an honest and reputable builder to be able to do a cost plus model. And so with being upfront and showing invoices and you're not skimping or running anything up, doing it at a cost plus basis is going to save the homeowner more money throughout the project.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
So those are the two different models.
It sounds like with your cost plus, you've got everything kind of laid out as far as a budget is concerned. So you give allocation towards each of those different elements of their build project. And at the end of the day, if they want to spend more money than that allocation, they can choose to do that. But it sounds like that there's options to keep costs at bay if they want to stay on track with that budget. So it gives the customer a lot more flexibility and control over their end costs for the project.
Yes, for sure. And it fluctuates with the market. So as tariffs come in or whatnot, pricing can go up, but the budget that we set is roughly has a 10% contingency in there. So a lot of the time we don't use the whole budget, and so it'll come in under, or if something happens, it could go over, but full transparency there.
Yes.
Now, where on a fixed price, if COVID hits or something crazy, then you can kind of the builder could get caught with getting upside down or vice versa. But that's why that huge margin is thrown in there too.
Right.
The builders as well.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yes.
Super helpful. Okay, John, so we just talked about financing. Number 2 question that most buyers ask as they're thinking about going down the path of building custom is, how do they find the land? Now, I know as a real estate professional, one of the things that I can do is kind of understand my client's criteria, what they're looking for in a lot, and I can help them narrow down their options. But how involved do you get in helping your customer, your client, find the land or find a lot? And can you talk to us about some red flags to steer away from as it pertains to picking the right home site?
Yes, for sure. So picking the lot and land is one of the most important parts. If the deal seems too good to be true, there's probably a reason for it. So I've seen lots of lots that were under market price. I started digging into it. First thing is look at the survey, see where the build lines are. There's several lots that I've passed on that the build line was way over because of a road easement. So where the city or county can come in later and expand the road to make it a 4-lane road versus a 2-lane road, and that eats up 70 feet of your property. And so where an 1.5 acre lot is only going to be a little less than an acre, and the house is going to have to sit off to one side. Another red flag would be trees. So a lot of trees, grading. If the lot is sloped really bad, you're gonna have to build a retaining wall, build up the pad, which could cost anywhere from $20,000 to $80,000. If there's a ton of trees that need to be cleared, that could be another $80,000. So there's and then flood zones. So if it's in a flood zone, you have to get special permitting. You have to build up the pad enough to not be in the flood zone. There's a lot of different factors which the builder needs to be involved in that process. If someone's looking at different lots, they have a realtor looking as well. So the realtor can try to find it and then send it to the builder. Hey, what do you think about this one? Well, it's going to cost $75,000 to do all the dirt work, and then you can figure that into your pricing to see if it makes sense. Or there may not need to be any work. You just need to start doing dirt work and possibly piers. But yeah, so it needs to be a team effort, not just a person searching on Realtor and buying a lot.
Right, for sure. I think that's one of those factors where people can count the cost before they start the project. So definitely get myself involved up front. We'll bring John into the search process and he can give some advice because some of these things can get very, very costly as it pertains to land.
One other thing I forgot, if it's in the city, you need to think about city tax, so your taxes for your city. If it's out in the county, there's not going to be city tax, so there's an advantage there. But it could also, if you're out in the county, then it's most likely not going to have sewer, so you're going to need septic, propane. If there's water, if there's not water, you're going to have to drill a water well. So there's a lot of different factors that roll into buying a lot.
Right.
That the builder and realtor need to be involved in.
Yes. Absolutely. You bring up some great points. So really that first step, separate and apart from financing, is to make sure you've got the right lot for your project.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if you go out and buy a lot and then think, well, I can use this budget or square footage price and make it work, well, if you have to drill a water well, install sewer, propane, it all adds up and it may push you out of your budget.
Great point, great feedback. So John, we talked about financing, we talked about finding a buildable lot and how we would both help customers find that right fit for their dream home. Talk to us about limitations. Are there any limitations that a customer might have if they decide to build a custom home?
So with full custom home, the only limitation would be the budget.
Okay,
So if you want marble from France, we'll bring marble from France in.
nice.
The only limit is the budget.
Nice. Okay, and I know, again, thinking about some of the concerns that buyers have if they're considering custom, one of them is just the rigorousness of the process and all the details that go into building custom. So what process have you put in place to help clients that feel overwhelmed with all the decisions that need to be made as they build their dream home?
Yeah, so we have a great design team. It's one of the best things we have going for us. So after architecture and plans are completed, our design team reaches out and sends out a questionnaire.
Okay.
And then you'll have your first sit-down meeting where they have several options to sit and pick through and start narrowing down things. It can get very overwhelming if you walk through a design center and look at all the tiles. You can spend 8 hours looking at tile only. Where our design team will come and bring selections 1 through 8, and you can just say, oh yeah, I love that one, don't like. And so they can narrow it down and do all the hard, stressful work for you.
I love that. That's a big deal.
Yes. And they are working with me throughout the build process as far as brick and exteriors, making sure everything matches, and it's a very seamless process that we have.
Right, yes, I love that. The other thing I love is, this is not something that I've experienced directly, but I've heard with other builders, they send you all over the area to pick each component of the house. So you might have to go to Design Center A to find your brick, or Design Center B to find your cabinets, and Design Center C to find your tile and your counters. So I love that you've kind of honed in that process and made it simplified and easy, where you sit in front of your design team and then they've made it even easier because they try to learn about your style and what's important to you as you're going down this journey, so that they're bringing you selections based on your preferences and your styles. I love that too.
Yes, they have a big board with like 9 boxes open. They set different samples and all different boards, and you can sit there in a conference room, and it saves a lot of time, and it's a lot less stressful on the home buyer.
Super important. So if a buyer was to come to you and said, okay, John, I've got all these things secured that we just talked about. I've got loan approval, I've got a lot, I kind of have an idea of what I want my house to look like. What would be the timeline that you would give them for their project from start to finish?
Yeah, so location matters. If it's in Salina, their permitting process is a little over 2 months out right now.
Okay.
They're getting flooded and overwhelmed. If it's out in the county, then there's not permits. And so, let's take for the county, for example, I'd say 5 to 7 months.
Okay.
Also, depending on the size of the home. That's for 3,000 to 5,000 square foot house.
Gotcha.
5 to 7 months. Anything bigger, it would add more time.
Gotcha. So if someone knocked on your door today and said that they were ready to go, you could potentially kind of get them in towards the end of the year.
Yeah, by the end of the year.
Potentially.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Good to know.
Yep.
Good to know.
It's not like COVID building anymore. So it's gotten a lot better since 2020. There's not as many problems. Manufacturing, it's all gotten a lot better. So
nice.
Right around the 5 month mark. 5, 6, 7 to be safe.
Home for the holidays.
Yep. There's always factors that affect time. The build time. One being the weather. So we're kind of getting out of the rainy season, but during the rainy season it slows down building quite a bit. Another one would be permits and inspections, which if you're in a city that requires inspections, then it's it's going to take a little bit longer, but not too much. Another big one would be changes. So change orders. I've built several houses where the homeowner did not like the tile once it went in, and we ended up tearing it all out and redoing it, and that it takes time.
Right.
So, but with being full custom, you're able to change it. If you don't love it, you can change it. So with a semi-custom or production builder, you have to pick your selections before frame goes up, and then you're stuck.
Right.
Where you have the freedom to change, or if you see a inspiration reel and want to change something, you can, which is always the benefit of building custom.
Right. Now you bring up a good point with that example of a buyer that sees something that they thought they wanted, but in actuality, when they saw it, they wanted something different. Do you have a technology that you're implementing to help people visualize what their home is going to look like before the materials are actually put in?
Yes. So our architect has a great 3D model. It's a fantastic program. So once your plans are completed, you can log into the program and visually go through the entire house and see it in 3D perspective.
It's really neat. Yes, it's very cool.
Yes.
Very cool. What are you doing to keep buyers abreast and informed as to what's happening with their project? And even from your buyers that might be moving here from a different state. They're not local, they can't attend every meeting physically in person. Can you kind of tell us what that process looks like as far as communication is concerned?
Yeah. So with today's technology, you can always jump on Zoom calls. It's easy to do that nowadays. I do weekly updates once every week and tell the buyer what happened this week, what's projected to happen next week, send photos, and so it's like they're there. They know what's going on. Where a lot of other builders they don't update quite as often, and you have a close date and hoping that it hits, and then that's all. But we do weekly updates and keep the homeowner informed, ask if there's any questions, and then it's always a open line of communication with the homeowners.
I love that.
Complete transparency.
That's so important. The worst thing you can do to a buyer that's spending that type of money on their home is to leave them in the dark. So
yes.
Yeah, keeping them up to speed and sending those pictures and their weekly updates, I'm sure that puts buyers at ease and makes them feel comfortable and confident about their project. What should a buyer expect during their final walkthrough, and then what type of warranties would they be getting with their custom dream home?
So during the final walkthrough, the home should be move-in ready, 100% complete. There should not be any outstanding items. So it's a long meeting where I know some other companies try to run you through in 45 minutes, and it shouldn't be that quick of a meeting. It should be a 3 or 4 hour walkthrough with you taking notes and me introducing you to your brand new home. And so we'll go through the entire house. I'll show you how the appliances work. I'll show you how to change your filters out, and just introduce you to your new home. Warranty-wise, we do a 1-year bumper to bumper. So anything is defective or messes up, we cover it for the first year. 2-year warranty on mechanicals. So anything within the walls, plumbing, HVAC, electrical, anything messes up within the wall or in the walls within the first 2 years, it's covered. And then we cover the foundation and structural warranty for 10 years.
Nice.
So,
guys, you heard from John Haynes Homes today. I've been working with him personally. I've been having an amazing experience with him. He's very ethical, like he said, very honest, transparent in terms of all the financials going into our project. I know you would love working with John. I know you'd have a great experience with him. If you'd like to learn more, or you're ready to start the process of transitioning into your new beginning with myself and John, click the link below to learn more and subscribe to my channel. And we're looking forward to working with you.